Football. Football is going to be the topic of this video. Football and sport in general has changed in recent years. Social media has become more prominent in today's world, and as sport is generally considered an arena for people to come together to discuss, debate, and share their views, all this can now be transferred online. The discussion extends beyond the actual football pitch. So now the question remains, how do fans use social media to interact with their clubs and teams and fellow supporters? There are positives and negatives to this situation, and I'm going to analyze both sides to get different perspectives. Studies reveal people who engage with their club the most online consider themselves with superior loyalty to the team or sport and are heavy users of social media. This is really interesting because these are the people's voices we're hearing prominently, and this could raise an idea of what if we're alienating some fans who don't use social media to voice their opinion, because you don't need to use social media to be a fan of a sport or a team. I see it with myself. I support Manchester United. I even have a jersey just over there, and I engage myself with a lot of Manchester United content on Twitter, Facebook, social, YouTube, all kinds of different things, but I'm starting to see trends that begin online take to the real world. My example I'll be using for this is the recent explosion of Arsenal Fan TV. I believe I'll probably have some viewers who don't actually know what Arsenal Fan TV is, so it's okay. Here's a little montage of their absurdity.
Where does that boil down to? It boils down to the manager. He's finished. He's finished. He was a great manager. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He has got no...
See, the situation is really bizarre. It started off with tweets, hashtag Wenger out. They want their manager out of the club. So it started off with tweets there. And then it started building, it started trending, and then all of a sudden we're seeing a global event. It became a meme, essentially, around the world. All of a sudden, there's a plane flying over the stadium with hashtag Wenger out attached to the back of it. What I'm getting at is positive and negative things can go viral, but when negative things go viral like this, it can often take away from what is the soul of the sport. It's to have fun, it's to enjoy the people you're with, to win. With gaining all this momentum online, it's possible that it's creating an online echo chamber. Fans are reinforcing their own opinions that the managers have to go, and it sort of excludes the people who don't necessarily share that opinion. And businesses and clubs can make decisions based on this off overreactions, which is something that is very dangerous for the club and the fans to assume this is what everybody thinks. However, that was just one perspective. Recently, I've been talking with local football fans about what is the basis of social media and sports intertwining with each other. The general consensus was that it's to socialize, social identification, how you represent yourself online and how you network and how you talk and share passions with people, whether you know them or not, shoulder to shoulder. Not necessarily physically because it's in an online world. This is where social media has its benefits. People connect with each other all around the world now, and statistics are supporting this. 30% of people watching a sport event are using Twitter. 45% of people watching the event are using Facebook. And a growing number are starting to privately message and use Facebook Messenger apps to discuss the event without it being in public space, but still using social media to an extent. And visual platforms like Snapchat and Instagram are growing exponentially with content being created. Not only are people creating content in this day and age, people are sharing content of real time. For example, I watched the Super Bowl through Twitter. I was actually at work and I wasn't able to watch it. So I was on Twitter and I was getting live tweets and I was getting memes, I was getting videos of what was happening. And this happens with every event around the world, not only with sport. And that's my Twitter most of the time. I'm sorry to my non-sport followers on Twitter. I apologize. I should probably interact. I should change it around with what I tweet about a bit more. But the general basis is wherever you are in the world, whether it be New York, Barcelona, Sydney, or London, you can interact with someone from over there who has an interesting debate. In addition to communicating with fans, people can now communicate directly with the club. Due to social media, there are now a thing called two-way communication or three-way communication, depending on which levels you want to look at it. It goes back and forth. Clubs use it to communicate with the fans use it to communicate with clubs. There's been an online surge of YouTube channels. There's such a variety of different YouTube channels for different clubs or just sports in general. Never in our history has there been a more prominent time to have multiple levels of communication. A case study I'll be using is a team called Leyton Orient in the UK. To summarize the exact situation that was happening was a multi-millionaire owner came in and bought the club with the idea to take it to the next level. Sadly, the club didn't benefit from this. The owner actually failed to pay people's wages and sort of brought the club down, and within 3 years they moved from a professional side to a semi-amateur side. It's a really tragic event, and had this happened maybe 30 years ago, I feel like people might not have known about it. I only found out about it because of a company in the UK called Copper 90 who go out and cover fan stories. They're heavily invested in support culture. And they went out and did a documentary on this team to tell their story. They created this community of fans that don't even support the team but come together to imagine what it's like to be in that situation for a sport fan. While this video itself didn't resolve the issue, it's a much bigger thing than just a video on YouTube to solve. It certainly allowed the fans to speak a language that many resonate with. So how much power is social media given to fans? It's very difficult. There's not a barometer to justify how much power they have. There's no black or white here. It's sort of how they use it. They use it in a negative way, like I said before, with some things that start online and online trends that don't necessarily have a positive consequence taking off into the real world. But then social media has also allowed people to connect from all parts of the world and bring everyone closer. Football is called the world's game, and social media really emphasizes that. Social media intertwining with sport is a really dynamic situation, and I feel privileged to live before it started getting a hold on the world of sports. But I also feel honored to live through it. I love waking up every day and seeing how people change the way they interact with sport in social media. It's how they watch the sport, their media habits. So what's my recommendations to the viewers watching this? Enjoy the dynamism of the sport. The good, the bad, the ugly, the technological innovations that change the way we communicate with our passions. It can happen tomorrow, it can be happening right now. Thank you for watching.